Miss Cons. You're stunning so much so that someone might jokingly say they'd drink your bathwater just to get close. But let's shift the spotlight to your mother, because she's the one truly holding the power. Every receipt, all in her name. She's not just a background figure. She's the quiet architect behind it all. In my opinion, Puff Mama is the one really calling the shots. Who am I to say? Maybe just an observer, but I know what I see, and she runs that empire with precision. She's a force, and honestly, a hero in her own right. No one compares to your mother, and I thank God for women like her. Meanwhile, Maze is preparing to sue Janice Combs, accusing her of stealing millions from bad boy artists. And he's backing his claims with receipts that could potentially bring down Diddy's entire legacy. The irony, Maze saw this coming years ago, long before anyone else dared to question Janice. Now, the truth is finally rising to the surface.
Everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with the guts.
But Maze isn't fighting this battle alone anymore. Other former bad boy insiders are stepping forward, echoing his claims with chilling stories of their own. The silence is breaking, and people are finally speaking up. Freddie P., one of the voices from the past, didn't hold back. He went as far as to call Janice literally the devil, making it clear that the pain and manipulation he experienced still haunt him. These aren't just isolated complaints. They're starting to form a pattern that's hard to ignore.
She is his... I can't even explain it, bro. She just ain't no... She the devil, bro. That's how I see it. She the devil. Janice Combs is the devil. That bitch got everybody money.
Chopper once called out Janice for clinging to his music rights as publishing long after she should have let go. You live and you learn, he reflected. But the truth is, Janice Combs still controls his publishing. She didn't just manage it. She claimed it. Things didn't stop there. Kirk Burroughs, a former president at Bad Boy Records, also took legal action against Janice. He accused her of unlawfully taking his share in the label. But if you think this is only a story about financial betrayal, you haven't scratched the surface. The reality inside Janice's home was far more disturbing than money grabs. Did you know she began dressing Diddy like a street hustler, a pimp, when he was just 4 years old? And while 12-year-old Sean Diddy was out in nightclubs, Janice was reportedly hosting her own risk parties at home, something he had no idea about. Janice herself once described working in underground clubs after hours. Men used to think I was glamorous, she recalled. I'd pour them drinks, and they'd tip me big. She admitted that even as a child, barely 12, she'd stay out until 3 or 4 a.m., immersed in the nightlife, pulled along by music and the illusion of stardom. Chopper once called out Janice for clinging to his music rights as publishing long after she should have let go. You live and you learn, he reflected. But the truth is, Janice Combs still controls his publishing. She didn't just manage it, she claimed it. Things didn't stop there. Kirk Burroughs, a former president at Bad Boy Records, also took legal action against Janice. He accused her of unlawfully taking his share in the label. But if you think this is only a story about financial betrayal, you haven't scratched the surface. The reality inside Janice's home was far more disturbing than money grabs. Did you know she began dressing Diddy like a street hustler? He was just 4 years old. And while 12-year-old Sean Diddy was out in nightclubs, Janice was reportedly hosting her own risk parties at home, something he had no idea about. Janice herself once described working in underground clubs after hours. Men used to think I was glamorous, she recalled. I'd pour them drinks, and they'd tip me big. She admitted that even as a child, barely 12, she'd stay out until 3 or 4 a.m., immersed in the nightlife, pulled along by music and the illusion of stardom. And get this, Janice was so fiercely protective of Diddy that she enrolled him in an all-boys Catholic school, determined to be the only woman in his life. No girls allowed, so she made sure of that. Growing up in Catholic schools myself, I can say that environment has its own strict rules, but this move felt more like control than care. There's also something unsettling beneath the surface of their relationship. People remember that eerie clip of Janice and Diddy sharing 4 drips right after one of her infamous freak-offs. It's a strange image that raises more questions than answers. And on a lighter note, someone once proudly introduced their mom as M. Doodles, calling her gorgeous while showing her getting a hydration drip alongside them, proof that even amidst the chaos, family ties run deep and complicated. What's up, Ma? Everything's good, baby. Love you. Yeah, I love you too. But beneath these sweet exchanges, a darker story is emerging. New videos have surfaced revealing that Janice Combs isn't just involved in shady financial schemes, she's also struggling with alcohol, often showing up visibly drunk at events. People have been asking, why bring your intoxicated mom on stage? Why put her in the spotlight like that? Meanwhile, Maze's warnings about all this have been echoing for years, but now the industry is finally paying attention. He's gearing up to sue Janice not only to reclaim the publishing rights she allegedly stole, but also to expose decades of financial crimes and racketeering tied to Bad Boy. It's no secret that Maze and Diddy had a very public falling out over publishing, but now Maze claims there were other voices influencing Diddy behind the scenes, shaping what he said and did. The drama is far from over, and that circle includes Janice herself. As much as I might have issues with Puff, the bigger problem seems to be the people around him, those influences that made things worse behind the scenes. Maze has been quietly building his case ever since Kirk Burroughs filed his lawsuit, and now he's reportedly working with some of the same legal team that handled Burroughs' complaint. In that lawsuit, Burroughs accuses Janice of masterminding a complex, deliberate scheme in collusion with Diddy and their lawyer Kenneth Mycelis. According to Burroughs, Janice illegally took 25% ownership of his stake in Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, plus 15% of its annual earnings. He also alleges a decades-long pattern of intimidation, violence, fraud, and financial cover-ups. While Janice has never publicly addressed these claims, it's clear she was deeply entangled in every part of the Bad Boy empire. Burroughs detailed in his lawsuit how Janice wasn't just a background figure. She actively participated in strategy sessions, attended executive meetings, and relied on daily updates from him about artist travel, sample clearances, budgets, and more. While presenting herself as an innocent bystander, Janice was secretly pulling the strings, orchestrating both his financial and professional downfall. Now, turning back to Macy was also in Janice's crosshairs, but didn't stick around, like Burroughs did. Once he caught wind of what Janice and Diddy were doing, he bounced immediately. What finally pushed Maze over the edge was spotting Janice's name on royalty statements. Realizing she'd been collecting money from artists who'd been out of their deals for over 10 years. The name Janice Smalls, her maiden name, was right there on the paperwork. Meanwhile, Maze's legal team is gathering sworn statements from other former Bad Boy artists, including Freddie P., Chopper, and others who have yet to speak publicly. Maze's plan is clear. He wants to expose a long-standing pattern of publishing theft, intimidation, forged signatures, and other fraudulent activities. In fact, an insider revealed that Maze is pushing for Janice to be named a co-conspirator in the federal RICO case against Diddy. He fully supports Kirk Burroughs' claims that Janice and Diddy orchestrated a decades-long scheme of fraudulent concealment. Beyond Burroughs, Maze has teamed up with other former Bad Boy artists, including Eckstein members, Freddie P. and Chopper, who also accuse Janice of stealing from them. Both Freddie and Chopper are collaborating quietly with Maze's legal team, preparing sworn statements to strengthen the case. Freddie, in particular, believes Janice is partly to blame for shaping Diddy into a problematic figure. He shared these thoughts during an interview with The Art of Dialogue, opening up about the deep impact Janice had on her son's life. When asked how he feels about Janice defending Diddy, Freddie didn't hold back. He said the only reason she's defending him is because she knows everything Diddy is accused of actually started with her. You might have heard how Diddy's mom came out saying he's not a monster. Freddie's take: yeah, he's not a monster. She is. He hesitated but then doubled down, calling Janice the real monster, saying everything is under her control, and that she created the chaos. He even went further, describing Janice as satanic, a real-life devil behind it all. It's her, bro, she's the devil, Freddie said bluntly, unable to put it any other way. That's how deeply he believes Janice Combs is the root of the darkness surrounding this whole saga. Freddie didn't hold back when he said Janice was the mastermind behind stealing everyone's money. When asked how she took his publishing rights, he explained just how much they lost and how much they can never get back because of the statute of limitations. They had stacks of unpaid checks, and a lawyer even told them that if they'd caught it in time, they could have won well over $10 million. That's how much slipped through their fingers. Freddie's feelings toward Janice are raw and real. God forgive me, but when she dies, I'll probably be celebrating, lighting up, watching a movie, and just hoping. He admitted he hates everything about her. And for him, Janice defending Diddy is like R. Kelly defending himself, unbelievable and painful to watch. Freddie's message is clear. Sit your ass down. Freddie didn't hold back when he said Janice was the mastermind behind stealing everyone's money. When asked how she took his publishing rights, he explained just how much they lost and how much they can never get back because of the statute of limitations. They had stacks of unpaid checks, and a lawyer even told them that if they'd caught it in time, they could have won well over $10 million. That's how much slipped through their fingers. Freddie's feelings toward Janice are raw and real. God forgive me. But when she dies, I'll probably be celebrating, lighting up, watching a movie, and just hoping. He admitted he hates everything about her. And for him, Janice defending Diddy is like R. Kelly defending himself, unbelievable and painful to watch. Freddie's message is clear. Sit your ass down. Freddie B's comparison of Janice to R. Kelly and calling her satanic goes beyond just stolen publishing. There's a darker message he's hinting at without outright saying it. When you dig into how Janice raised Diddy, it starts to make sense. She was throwing her own freak-offs right at home while Diddy was still in school. Not protecting him but teaching him to navigate that world. Recently, a long-scrubbed interview resurfaced that adds another layer to the story. On an episode of Inside the Actor's Studio, Janice opened up about working at after-hours spots where men gave her big tips, apparently because she looked glamorous. She also talked about juggling multiple jobs to support her family, including work at the United Civil Police and the Board of Education in Westchester County. These details paint a picture of a complicated woman whose influence on Diddy was anything but ordinary. Janice shared that she worked a variety of jobs to support her family, driving a school bus, working in a baby boutique, and even at an after-hours spot where men tipped her generously because they thought she was glamorous. She admitted, "I had to come clean." Meanwhile, what Diddy revealed about his own childhood is even more shocking. When asked what he was doing while his mom worked those late-night shifts, he said he was out in the streets, sometimes until 3 or 4 in the morning, just a 12-year-old kid. He described cruising through the 80s nightlife in Suzuki Jeeps and BMWs, music blasting from car stereos, hanging out in front of Willy Burgers on 145th and Amsterdam, or chilling on rooftops. It sounded like a scene straight out of a movie, vibrant, wild, and far from a normal childhood. Diddy described how the music wasn't just something you heard, it came alive, almost like you could see it in the streets. But when host James Lipton asked Janice if she knew her 12-year-old son was out until 4 a.m., she claimed she didn't, saying she left him with relatives she trusted to take care of him. James, we don't have to get into that," she said, admitting she's only now learning about how late he stayed out. She even mentioned Diddy had a lot of beatings, hinting at a rough upbringing. But when you look deeper into Janice's work history, the story gets murky. Depending on the interview, she's been described as everything from a teacher to a bus driver to a casino worker. Even Diddy's Wikipedia page lists her as a former model, though there's no solid proof of that. What does seem to hold weight are allegations that Janice ran fashion shows as a front, using them to connect young girls with older businessmen. The whole operation supposedly fell apart when one of those men committed something unspeakable to one of the girls, causing the scheme to blow up. The whole scandal was quietly buried. No charges, no press, no public pressure on Janice to come forward. It's believed this silence was due in large part to Janice's late husband, Melvin Combs, who reportedly had deep ties to law enforcement as an informant, making the whole mess vanish without a trace. But things get even darker. According to Diddy's childhood friend Tim Patterson, Janice used to throw wild freak-off parties at their house while Diddy was still in elementary school. Tim recalled shady figures from Janice's Harlem past coming over, with adults wandering around the house, naked and high. Tim explained that Diddy's fascination with wild partying and freak-offs was something he inherited directly from his mom. Because Sean had no dad, all he had was his mom, Tim said. Sean's house there was always something going on. Weekends were wild. He was around all kinds of alcohol, weed, drug addicts, lesbians, homosexuals, pimps, and pushers. That was just the environment we grew up in. Another former neighbor confirmed the wild scene in an interview with the Daily Mail, recalling, "I remember there were a lot of cars on the street, people coming and going, and music playing late into the night. I never went, but I heard they were wild parties." Fans are now saying that Maze's lawsuit against Janice for stealing isn't enough. They believe she should be thrown in jail alongside Diddy for exposing him to such a toxic environment from a young age. But the biggest question on everyone's mind is the strange, often scrutinized relationship between Diddy and his mother. Many have seen the infamous video where Janice and Diddy sit side by side, receiving 4 drips supposedly after one of Diddy's free. The clip takes an even creepier turn when they kiss on the lips, followed by Diddy bragging about how flexible his mom is, even showing off her ability to touch her toes. And if you noticed, Janice's white nail polish matches what Chris should be wearing, adding another odd detail to the already unsettling scene. Remember in the lawsuit when Cassie claimed Diddy made the women around him wear white nail polish because it looked good during those wild freak-offs? Well, it's pretty telling that Janice, his mother, is rocking the same white polish. Meanwhile, Diddy's out here living life, saying things like, "Baby, she'll come with me to the strip club, I don't care," showing just how wild their world was. He even boasted about his mom's flexibility, saying she could touch the floor with her palms flat, encouraging him to keep moving. But then, an even more unsettling video recently resurfaced, a black and white clip of Janice dancing on Diddy in the shower. And this wasn't a playful mother-son moment. She was literally backing it up on him like they were at a club. If you look closely, it even appears Diddy's hands are on her hips. This whole drama with Maze going after Janice isn't just about stolen royalties anymore, because, honestly, if Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, wasn't involved in the messy business at Bad Boy Entertainment, then how do you explain her name appearing on old publishing checks from artists who haven't been with the label for decades? This detail alone suggests she was quietly collecting royalties long after her official role should have ended. Her presence in the label's inner circle during years of turmoil also hints at a deeper involvement. How did she manage to avoid any consequences while chaos unfolded around her? Even more disturbing is a recently resurfaced black and white video showing Janice dancing provocatively on Diddy, an unsettling scene that looks more like a club setting than a family moment. At times, Diddy's hands appear to be on her hips, making the footage even more uncomfortable. These revelations make it clear that Maze's lawsuit against Janice is about much more than publishing rights. Maze, a former Bad Boy artist himself, has been quietly building a case against Janice for years. What started as a battle over stolen publishing rights is now expanding into a potential criminal investigation. Reports say federal investigators and RICO lawyers are involved, signaling this could lead to serious family-wide charges. This case isn't just about money, it's about decades of financial fraud, intimidation, and criminal activity linked to Janice and Diddy. Adding to the story is a 1971 incident involving Diddy's father, Melvin Combs. Melvin was reportedly an informant with strong ties to law enforcement, which may explain why Janice and Diddy avoided prosecution despite years of alleged criminal behavior. This connection could have helped them navigate the legal system and keep their secrets buried. Janice's involvement in Bad Boy Entertainment has long been shrouded in controversy. While publicly she appeared innocent, behind the scenes, she allegedly orchestrated financial schemes, intimidation, and fraud. Kirk Burroughs, a former president of Bad Boy, sued Janice claiming she illegally seized ownership stakes and manipulated earnings. Burroughs describes her as a ruthless figure who colluded with Diddy and their lawyer to defraud artists and executives. Former artists like Freddie P. and Chopper have also stepped forward. They're working with Maze to submit sworn statements exposing a pattern of theft, forged signatures, and intimidation. Freddie P. went so far as to call Janice the devil, accusing her of creating the monster that Diddy became and masterminding the schemes that cheated many artists out of millions. Janice's influence on Diddy's upbringing has raised more troubling questions. Childhood friends recount wild parties called freak-offs at their home when Diddy was still a child. These parties allegedly included shady guests, drug use, and adults behaving inappropriately around a young Sean Combs. Tim Patterson, one of Diddy's childhood friends, said Diddy was surrounded by alcohol, drugs, pimps, and pushers from a young age. This toxic environment shaped Diddy's lifestyle and business approach. The infamous video showing Janice and Diddy receiving 4 drips together after one of these parties has drawn widespread criticism. Their intimate kiss on the lips and Diddy's praise of his mother's flexibility have made many uncomfortable. Fans question the boundaries of their relationship and the extent of Janice's influence. Janice's backstory is also puzzling. She's claimed jobs ranging from school bus driver to boutique clerk. But there's evidence she ran fashion shows as a front to connect young girls with older businessmen. That operation reportedly collapsed after a serious incident involving one girl. Her late husband Melvin's law enforcement connections apparently helped bury the scandal with no charges or media coverage. All these allegations reveal a dark side of bad boy entertainment that contrasts sharply with its glamorous image. Mays is now preparing a comprehensive lawsuit against Janice that will go beyond stolen publishing to expose decades of racketeering and fraud, as more sworn statements surface and federal authorities get involved. Janice Combs' true role and possibly Diddy's may finally be uncovered. What started as a fight over money has grown into a major investigation that could change the legacy of Bad Boy forever and bring justice to those who were cheated and exploited along the way.